Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Main Event Podcast, the
Welcome.
only podcast you will need for all your weekly updates, news, information, rumours, and entertainment surrounding the WWE. We're now into episode 7, 4 weeks on the trot, which is a great achievement for
Episode
us.
802.
And this is our final podcast of 2013.
Ever.
Final one.
Yep, you'll never see the final episode of 2013 again, which is sad. But
Yep.
I'm one of your three hosts, Rosa, and joining me, as always, my good friends Arif and Imran. How are you doing, guys?
I'm good. We're good. Yeah, they finally met me back here in the Main Event Podcast studio.
Finally.
We're all together.
I still can't believe we're 4 weeks running, guys. This is really special for us. Uploading one a month was incredible. But for us, Four on the Bounce is also great. And of course, we wouldn't be at this stage if it wasn't for the very few avid listeners we have. As we've always said, even if one individual tunes in every single week and listens, we are more than happy.
Even if that's one of us downloading the show for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yep.
We couldn't be more happy. And a big thank you
Looking at you, Harry. Listening right now.
Yeah, and a big thank you to the fans/friends of the Main Event Podcast on Facebook. Some of the comments and feedback we have received truly is brilliant, and we appreciate every single one of you sticking with us, even if the WWE might not be your thing, so thank you. As always, yep. Nothing, Imran? You don't want to...
That was it.
You don't want to ruin my moment in the spotlight. As always, we want to hear from you in any way and every way possible. You can like us on Facebook at the Main Event Podcast, on Twitter at TME Podcast. Send us an email at tmepodcast@gmail.com. Arif is on his laptop right now waiting for your emails. And of course, typing away, replying to the 0 emails we have. And of course, please visit our website, www.tme-podcast.com, for all our latest content and information. Anything you want to ask or send our way, please do get in touch. We would love to hear from you more and more as time goes by. And we do hope you stick with us as we continue our journey, to become a top or even a recognisable WWE podcast. We have some good stuff lined up for you today, just like every week. The reviews, the news, and of course the discussions on a wide array of topics. But just like every week, let's hand it over to Imran for his very enthusiastic SmackDown review.
SmackDown and
Sounds like a 5-star already.
yes, it was 5-star. No, John Cena came out to open up SmackDown, talked about 2013, saying he wants to rematch against Randy Orton, but guess what? The Shield interrupt him. They attacked him until Mark Henry and Big E came out for the save. Kane comes out and makes the following matches for tonight. Big E Langston versus Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins versus John Cena, and then for our main event, Roman Reigns versus Mark Henry. Then we got the Wyatt family versus the Usos, where the Wyatt family got the win. Got a backstage segment with Randy Orton talking about being champion. Next up, we got Cesaro getting the win over Cody Rhodes. Primetime Plays got a surprising win over Ryback. And Randy Orton got the win over Ziggler and then started beating him up. But it was actually the end of the night that was kind of okay. With Big E getting the win over Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns getting the win over Mark Henry, and to end the night, we had Cena getting the win over Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins looks like he's got like a death wish with the way that he pulls off some of the moves. But it wasn't a great SmackDown. I didn't like it. It was just a bit of a throwaway, really.
We might as well get SmackDown out of the way. What rating would you give this?
1 out of 10.
Really?
1 out of 100. Really, I didn't like
This
it.
is like the worst SmackDown we've ever reviewed at the Main Event Podcast.
Like, as soon as it started off, it didn't even have the SmackDown introduction, so...
Thank God for Arif. Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw. Live from Richmond, somewhere in America. Because I wasn't really sure, because they didn't really say where Richmond was. So, yeah, that was on purpose. But it's the final Raw of 2013, and CM Punk comes out. And he cuts a promo, only way CM Punk can, or this new CM Punk can, because it was terrible. As always, he gets a cheap pop for Richmond. He talks about how 2013 wasn't his year, and says that this year has been the Shield's year, and I don't agree with that at all, because they lost in a 3-on-1 handicap match to Punk. If anything, they should not be. Anyway, he gets interrupted by the Shield. which is surprising. Punk says he wants to face one of them right now, but only the best. So Dean Ambrose obviously says, no, it's me you want to face Punk. And Punk says, no, he's already beaten Ambrose a number of times. And then Seth Rollins pops up. Steph Rollins, as I like to call her, her.
It.
He challenges Punk and gets in a verbal altercation with Reigns. I want to face you, Punk. So Brad Maddox pops up and makes the eagerly anticipated CM Punk versus Seth Rollins match right now. It's a good match with a few missteps. There's a couple of moves that you didn't really see going wrong, but they went wrong. But hey, nothing wrong with it at this point. Punk wins with the GTS in a decent match as the Shield begin their disintegration. Brad Maddox and the Authority are interrupted backstage by Daniel Bryan. He is told that he's in a gauntlet match against the Wyatt family later on tonight. Out comes Stephanie McMahon. She makes Randy Orton versus John Cena at the Royal Rumble.
Was that the blockbuster announcement on WWE.com?
I don't understand because it's just a regular match.
Exactly.
As in the stipulations were said as no interference, no disqualification, but there was disqualification. I don't understand.
Yeah, she announced it as a traditional championship match.
That's Steph for you.
Traditional.
Steph Rollins just lost to CM Punk, and now she's out making matches. Curtis Axel versus Captain Pinfall. Who could that be? Oh yeah, Dolph Ziggler. But he doesn't go for pinfalls. I didn't understand.
He listens. He listens to the podcast. He knows.
Yep. And he listens, and I'm not gonna do pinfalls. But then Curtis Axel does the entire time, and Dolph Ziggler wins with the Ziggler drop from the sky. Big E takes on Fandango in an Intercontinental title match. There's 2 weeks in the making, and big ending, and Fandango loses. New Year celebrations start early with superstars on stage, and Booker T comes out and says, "Oh, we're gonna bring in the New Year in style with a New Year spinneroonie," but then he's in a suit and it's on the stage, so you know it's not gonna happen. And oh, what's this in the background? Is that Bray? No. Booker? No. Bad News Barrett.
Oh.
Yeah. He says, "We're one step closer to the apocalypse." And 2014 will be no different, and something. And it looked really good.
He did not say that.
He said something.
He did.
Really?
He did.
Yeah. Really?
We're one step closer to the apocalypse.
Wow.
Yep.
Bad news, Barry.
Damien Sandow versus the Great Khali is up next. And what's really interesting about this match is the WWE Universe got to choose who Sandow was facing between Khali, Kofi, and The Miz. And what's so special about this is that the WWE Universe hate Kofi and The Miz so much that they would rather see the Great Khali on WWE Raw.
Shall I tell you what it really is? It's because Damien Sandow is that superior. He needs testing physically. He's that great. So if he can beat Great Khali, he can take on anyone. So it's a clever move by the WWE Universe.
However, Damien Sandow, before the match, did come out and say that his job was on the line.
Oh, no, after that happened?
I cannot confirm nor deny this.
Oh, interesting. So what happened in this match? What happened?
Anyway, Damien Sandow wins with a roll-up.
No surprise.
R-Truth against Brodus Clay. Truth wins with a distraction from the Funkadactyls. And then Triple H comes out. He says, "Please welcome this man back to the WWE." And at this point, I paused it. Who could it be? Batista coming back early. Hogan returning. Jeff Hardy. Sheamus. Flair.
Magnus.
JR.
AJ Styles.
He didn't return to no. Jericho. Jake the Snake Roberts. No, it's Brock Lesnar. Heyman announces that Lesnar is the self-proclaimed number one contender to the WWE World Heavyweight title. Suddenly, Mark Henry interrupts. And we get Lesnar taking out Henry with a huge F5, and it looks amazing, this F5 on the outside. And then there's only one way to go from there, which is down, because we get a 5-on-5 Divas match. Again, one of the teams won. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was the heel team. Aksana did something, and then, yeah. So Brian, in the main event, faces the gauntlet match of his life against the Wyatt family. He defeats Luke Harper, then he defeats Eric Rowan, and then all three members of the Wyatt family beat down Brian. Bray cuts a creepy promo. He talks about how it could all be different. Brian takes the mic and says, "You're right." Cue shocked voice. Brian says that Bray was always right. He joins the Wyatt family to end 2013 as the Wyatts and Brian leave Raw. And that, my friends, is how WWE Raw should be every single week.
Elements of surprise. It was
I
brilliant.
mean, the Brock Lesnar segment was pretty good. The Bray Wyatt segment was awesome. Even CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, the match itself was good. I mean, the promos beforehand were terrible, but hey, what can you do?
Well,
And
guys, I think it was a bit surprising because there was no John Cena.
I didn't miss him. I don't even... Was Randy Orton there either?
I'm sure he got the week off last week.
Oh,
He should
he
be
wasn't.
back.
He
I'm
wasn't
sure
on-
Orton wasn't there either. And it didn't feel like they were missing at all.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
Yep.
That do we need
The
them?
world champion doesn't have to be there for a show to be good.
Obviously, the kids would have missed John Cena, but the elder audience who dislike him, I don't think they would have noticed, let alone not wanting to see him.
Yep.
That all credit goes to, I'd say, the final promo itself.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
just before we do move on, what would you give that Raw rating?
I would give it an A star, aka 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. That is not
The
bad.
entire show wasn't great, but the big segments brought it up to a 7.
Would you say without Paul Heyman, that middle segment would have been as decent as it is?
See, you say that, but Brock Lesnar did get on the mic and he didn't seem that bad.
Mm.
He said that that as far as he was concerned, the line for the number one contendership for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship started behind him, which was quite a good line, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's Raw, everybody.
That is
Great.
Raw.
The final Raw 2013.
They topped it off nicely, let's say, after weeks and weeks of terrible shows.
Yeah, they've been awful. They've been terrible. They've been the build up to the, and it just shows that the build up to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship isn't what people wanted to see because they weren't on the show.
Exactly. As in
Neither of the contenders for it were on the show.
they've announced, yeah, exactly. They've announced the Royal Rumble main event, and the champion and the challenger were not there.
Exactly.
But I think that does speak volumes of the people like Brian, the Wyatt family now as well.
Yep. Lesnar.
Yeah, they're doing something right. And what do you think's gonna happen between the Wyatt family and Daniel Bryan? For me personally, I don't think he has officially joined for good.
Well, that leads me on to my theory of the week, Rosa, which you'll have to wait for slightly later on.
Okay.
But we can discuss it then.
We can discuss it then, but let's move on to the news. Oh, by the way, obviously, if you've watched Raw and SmackDown, you want to tell us how it was, please get in touch. We want to hear your points of view.
I do have an email.
He does have an email, tmepodcast@gmail.com. He's still on it. Just send him something, anything, please.
No, I mean, I've received an email.
Oh, really?
It's from a guy. He's a very avid listener of the show. His name is
I bet sorry.
Asif.
Asif.
Yes. And Asif says, "Dear esteemed hosts of the Main Event Podcast, why do you let Imran and Raza run the show? Arif is the best one. He should do all the segments, especially the news. His favorite segment.
Well, Asif, the thing is, we love Arif a lot, and we don't want to spoil you with so much Arif that you can't handle it.
Yeah.
Even I can't handle
Yeah,
it
exactly.
sometimes.
Arif can't handle too much of Arif. So what we do is we gently put Arif out there every week, so you get enough dose of Arif for 1 week. I know it's new. I know it's Christmas and the New Year period, but we can't spoil you. It's just not right. Arif needs to be let out there equally, and that's what's happening, and that's not going to change. But Arif and Asif, they both love the news, so let's move on to it. And if you did tune in last week, you know that the news was dominated by Dave Bautista, who is set to return to WWE in a couple of weeks.
What?
Is it the first you're hearing of it? After a lengthy discussion last week.
Batista's returning? I had no idea because of the 7 promos that were aired on Raw.
Oh, did they confuse you? Yeah. It happens. But as we saw on Raw, and as Arif kindly said, Brock Lesnar has returned to WWE. Paul Heyman did announce that whoever comes out of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match victorious will have to defend it against Brock Lesnar. No set date was said. However, I do have one interesting thing about this, and I don't know whether this could be made possible. Elimination Chamber. John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Dave Bautista.
Wow.
WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Could that happen?
Massive. That would be...
Are you proposing it, or is there a news source to back it up?
There's no source. I've just sent my idea to WWE. We probably won't hear back from them. But do you guys think this could happen as an idea?
No.
No.
I see one of those 6 winning the Royal Rumble.
Okay. But
So
then
I don't think they'll place them into the Elimination Chamber. But that match, I would love it to happen. It needs to happen.
I take it Orton and Cena cannot compete in the Rumble itself. So you can rule them 2 out of winning.
Which is a shame, really,
Yeah.
or is it because of my theory of the week? Can I just say my theory of the week? Because it leads on to a lot.
Okay, yeah, you can spoil the new segment, or if you
New segment.
Takeover.
As if you got your wish.
I'll be really quick, and then we can discuss it, and then we can integrate it into the news. My theory of the week is that 2014 will be the year of Daniel Bryan. Now, I know Bray Wyatt is supposed to face John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship or something along those lines at WrestleMania. But with Bray Wyatt joining the Wyatt family,
Bray Wyatt is
or with Daniel Bryan, I was just going back in time, and then Luke Harper joined, and then Eric Rowan joined, and then they bought a sheep mask, and they never changed the sheep mask because the sheep mask looked old. And then Daniel Bryan joined this past week on Raw. I think that he will continue to stay with them to take down the machine known as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, who just happens to be John Cena. Or maybe he is the machine himself. They will face off for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan will turn face during that match from heel, and John Cena will turn heel from that match from face. Thank you for listening to my theory of the week. Good night, everybody.
These theories get bolder and bolder and bolder. As in, as much as we'd love for that to actually happen, that's coming to fruition.
The Undertaker will face himself in a mirror match.
Okay,
we've already had that.
Yeah.
We've had that. Undertaker.
But the Undertaker will win and lose the streak, so therefore the only person to break the streak is the Undertaker.
Let's get back to the news. Let's get back on track. As I was saying about the Elimination Chamber, the only reason I don't think that will happen is obviously because of Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family. As much as I would like that to happen, it's just an idea. Who knows? Maybe the WWE will do something creative for once. But I will say this, with Paul Heyman announcing that Brock Lesnar is the number 1 contender, guys, I don't think you should be shocked if Brock does wind up winning the WWE World Heavyweight title. I think WWE could be building up to a Brock Lesnar versus Batista battle for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and it has been known for quite a while that Batista does want to fight Brock. They've never crossed paths. I think possibly
Go ahead.
Possibly in their younger days, development, they did cross paths, but I think
Younger days, Batista.
Younger days. So I think that's why they started the angle where Brock would challenge the winner of the title match at the Rumble, and Batista could end up winning the Royal Rumble and then win the title at Elimination Chamber, become the new champion, and then Batista goes on to defend it at WrestleMania against Lesnar. That could happen, as in at the minute, a lot is being talked about, as we can see now, as the biggest news probably we have this week. So it's something to think about. We didn't report a lot of this last week because the news did break out, Arif, I think a day or two. But as Arif said, John Cena and Bray Wyatt was penciled in. At that time, it was the main event, Arif.
It's surprising to me.
Yeah. So we do have some more news, exclusive news, you could say, according to our sources. Their source is saying the WWE have put together the WrestleMania 30 pay-per-view card. They received a memo which was sent to several members of WWE's creative team within the past week. And some of the early matches that have been discussed are on that memo. As of this podcast, Dave Bautista versus Randy Orton is being talked about to headline the event.
Huge match. Huge.
Yeah, and according to that memo, Randy Orton will defend the title on that night. So Randy Orton
It would be silly if it was the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt is penciled in, but according to the memo, it's not the main event of the show. Which in a way is good, but that chucks our theory out the window.
Yeah, it's also wrong.
It's also wrong. As far as The Undertaker's concerned, something everyone is interested in every single year. There are two scenarios, and they're both really interesting. The current and the biggest plan right now is to have him face Daniel Bryan, with the
What?
Undertaker playing the heel.
No.
It's...
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wyatt family.
Mm,
Undertaker.
exactly.
Uh-oh.
A lot of possibilities.
Devil made me do it.
The other scenario is for Undertaker to face Brock Lesnar, as it's been rumoured for about 10 years. But obviously,
Wait a minute. Wyatt family.
Yeah.
No. There's no link there, I'm sorry.
But obviously the Brock Lesnar bout depends on whether they both agree to face each other. We know they have got some tension.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
You want to do
Remember
it?
that UFC pay-per-view?
You want to do it?
I take it he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he
He
didn't.
didn't want to do it. He might want to do it now.
Maybe.
Maybe. But the interesting thing here is Undertaker, if neither of them agree to a match, the Undertaker specifically mentioned Daniel Bryan as an opponent. He's chosen Bryan, which is a big thing, obviously, in WWE with Undertaker's status. So
Bryan just doesn't seem to be believable enough to beat The Undertaker, though.
that's probably the... Yeah, but if the Wyatt family are still with him, they can put Bryan in a better, higher position. Who knows? Individually, Bryan can't do it. As a solo, Bryan, I won't believe it.
Bryan deserves
Bryan-
to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania.
I don't know, Bray Wyatt, he's not a threat, but the Wyatt family could make him as a legitimate threat.
I think right now you can't rule out anything with the Wyatt family. They can take the WWE to newer heights, depending on the limitations. I think they can take out The Undertaker
Definitely.
to make him...
Hey, if the Shield can do it.
Exactly. But yeah, right now Bryan is the rumoured opponent. If they go with that plan, that leaves Brock Lesnar without an opponent. And if they go the other way, then Daniel Bryan is without an opponent. So still, obviously, as we said earlier...
Oh, I don't know. Daniel Bryan still has Shawn Michaels to face.
It seems we discuss this every single week. Shawn Michaels to come out of retirement. You two said you do want that match.
Yes.
I said I don't, but in a way I've kind of changed my tune.
Did you maybe change your sweet chin music?
Yes. Kind of.
Change your tune?
Yeah,
Change
that was a good one,
your
Arif.
tune?
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I think I would like to see, as in this kind of, Shawn Michaels taught Daniel Bryan everything he knows, master versus student. I would like to see that happening because I love Shawn.
I think it would be on par with the Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle match that we saw many years ago at WrestleMania, which was awesome.
It just depends on how Michaels is feeling, because he'll be, a year, 2-3 years ring rust.
Well, he found his smile a couple of years ago, so shouldn't be that
Fair enough,
bad.
but yeah, as I've said, I would not mind seeing that match happening. If it's any other match, I would not want to see it. There's been talk of Dolph Ziggler defeating Dean Ambrose for the United States title heading into WrestleMania. If that was to happen, the rumour has it that Dolph Ziggler will defend his United States Championship at WrestleMania 30 against Sheamus.
It's a shame to see him come back to WWE because Sheamus is terrible.
Yeah, Sheamus. And Roman Reigns, we always say it, he's going to get a massive push toward the Royal Rumble. The current plan is, as always, turning babyface, heading toward WrestleMania. According to that,
Babyface.
according to that memo, the infamous memo, Dean Ambrose is set to team up with a fantastic superstar in WWE, Damien Sandow.
Yeah.
And they're going to take on Roman Reigns and Biggie Langston. So a heel versus face kind of match. That's penciled in for WrestleMania 30 as well. Langston is still being billed as the Intercontinental Champion come WrestleMania 30.
Hey, he doesn't need one tag team partner because it ain't enough, man. He needs 5.
I was on a roll today.
Oh.
Also on that memo, a Team Alpha versus Team Bravo, which is basically Team Face versus Team Heel. That was also...
There's the Divas, it'll be Divas, guaranteed.
It could be. I wouldn't be surprised. We've been seeing that for the last 10, 20 weeks.
Team Total Divas
Yeah.
versus Team Non-Total
Yeah.
Divas. AJ.
True
Yeah,
Divas.
it's
True
gonna
Divas.
Next to that match were the words to Phil. All that means is that the teams are still undecided at this writing, but as the main event podcast has just announced, it will be a Divas match.
Yep.
There was no CM
Guaranteed.
Punk.
Book it. Book it.
There was no CM Punk or Divas match listed on the memo. Obviously, these are very early plans. They could change it tomorrow, the day after.
CM Punk versus Triple H. Book it.
Yeah, they're simply being talked about. The rumor is for, as I've just said, the game to face CM Punk in a singles match. Creative,
AJ Lee to face herself.
the two best
That's
divas.
probably the best.
Creative have been discussing a Roman Reigns Triple H match as a backup plan in case plans for CM Punk need to change. If they were to go with the backup plan, obviously the tag team match between Ambrose, Sandow, Reigns and Langston would need to be changed. And as we said, they do change.
But then Mark Henry could just join Langston and it would be fine and no one would even bat an eyelid.
But obviously people will think these are all rumours. According to the source, they will have a screenshot of this memo within the week, I hope. We'll probably put a link in the description and you can check it out for yourself. But let's just emphasize...
What's really interesting about this memo, though, is there was another one that came out about a year ago.
Roughly the same time, isn't it?
Yep. And it basically ran through the entire WrestleMania card, and it ended up being 99% accurate. I think the only difference was one of the negligible matches, like the pre-show match or the Divas match.
I think it was the pre-show match, yeah.
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 So,
Apart from that, everything else was right.
So take it as you will. It could be 100% correct. It could be 90. It could be 0.
If you're going to put your bets on, don't do it.
Yeah. So yeah, if we do get a screenshot, we'll put the description. Rumours began flying that CM Punk was retiring soon. This is because of a message he posted on Twitter. I think it was a couple of days ago now. Punk, it said, people backstage saying he has a habit of hinting he's going to retire much sooner than anyone suspects. After their Detroit house show, CM Punk posted, "Thanks Detroit, I don't have many of these left in me." Punk is believed to sign with WWE through the coming summer, and of course he could sign a new deal, we can't rule that out. And no one in the company does truly believe that that Twitter post was any indication that he's retiring in the immediate future.
Oh, not at all.
But there has been a lot of reports saying it's Punk and Del Rio could potentially be retiring very soon.
Oh, there's no plans for Del Rio at WrestleMania.
I don't think there's going to be any plans for him in 2014. He's just going to be a superstar on the roster, and that's about it.
Can we get another Heath Slater?
Douglas Getz, I don't know how many of you have heard of him. He was WWE's Vice President of Reality Promotion and Special Projects. He
Of course.
passed away a couple of days ago at the age of 44.
That's terrible.
Getz had been with the company since 1992 and was considered one of the top people in the company in terms of production.
Thoughts and prayers go out to his family from the Main Event podcast.
He was well liked, and when word did go around, because SmackDown was taped for this week a couple of days ago, and a lot of talent were reportedly saddened, which is understandable, and because he was scheduled to work that SmackDown. He helped WWE in a number of ways, their own in-house agency, it designed their marketing campaigns, then he left the company, and then WWE actually brought him back to his VP role a few years ago. So obviously,
It's been very, very good.
as I've said on behalf of everyone here at the Main Event Podcast, we do send our condolences to Mr. Getz' friends and family.
Yep.
Former WWE superstar Batista, surprising, will officially return to WWE January 20th, Raw. Apparently, he will be hanging around at least through WrestleMania 30, probably 31. The idea is that this is not a one-time WrestleMania return type deal for Batista, but this is rather a final run for him that could last potentially 2 years.
Now, I've seen him run. He's not that. He doesn't seem like he can run that far.
His new deal reportedly calls for him to take some time off during the summer. Obviously, he's got the Guardians of the Galaxy film coming out. He's gonna promote that. Regarding the specifics of his return, his first televised appearance back with the company will be on the 20th of January, but he won't be wrestling on that night. Obviously, his first official match will be the 30-man Royal Rumble match at that pay-per-view.
Which I think he will win.
It could. We will either next week, the week after, we will have a proper Royal Rumble prediction. We will break down the Royal Rumble of the winners, what could happen, what doors does it open. There are rumours floating around that Brock Lesnar may be heading to UFC once more.
Not gonna happen.
Apparently, he was heading to UFC 168 to discuss.
Maybe to watch the show, not to.
Apparently, he was discussing a possible return to the promotion. You know, the common belief among those in WWE is that Lesnar's deal with the company will allow him to do one UFC fight while under contract.
Wow.
It's important to note, of course, there's only word backstage. We can't take this any seriously until it actually happens. It's not based on anything specifically known about Lesnar's contract, but people close to Lesnar, not Heyman, claim he can do at least one UFC fight, while people in WWE deny that's the case. So the WWE is saying no. In addition to that, the UFC might not even allow Lesnar to fight because obviously the WWE and UFC, they've had issues in the past. So who knows? I doubt he's going to return. Yes, he's got such a good deal here, and I think his UFC MMA days are over. He's loved in WWE. I wouldn't see a reason to leave.
Yep, I think his UFC career is dead. Whereas WWE career, that's the one thing he's got, like, that's making him money. So stick to it. Stick what you're good at.
As well. Stick to what you know, exactly.
Chris Jericho, he's continuing to deny he's set to return to WWE once more. His tweet early in the week, okay guys, here's the deal, I'm not coming back anytime soon next year. No secrets, no shenanigans, no plans. Sorry, I still love you though. We know he's famous for these kind of things. So I think everyone is going to believe that he will be returning at some point. During a recent WWE creative meeting, Vince McMahon noted that there are no more faces and heels left in the WWE. Many were completely puzzled, as Arif is. He stated The Miz, Kofi Kingston and Antonio Cesaro as examples. So within the next year...
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Within the next year, we could see those terms being thrown out the window. This comes as no surprise, obviously. We know Sin Cara, the original Sin Cara, has had a rough time since starting in the WWE.
He's doing better, though.
Mystico,
he's doing a lot better.
Mystico is what he's known as in Mexico. He's had several injuries, in-ring problems, and obviously that wellness policy violation.
Well, not recently. He's doing really well.
Yeah, you know why he's doing really well?
It's almost like he's a new person.
Yeah, he's got a new tattoo as well.
It's because it's Hunico, exactly, as they say. He's taken up the mask. He's picked up a few wins.
If only someone in the WWE was touting that as an actual new person. If only, I don't know, maybe someone like JBL would say, he's like a new man, Mago. He's like a new man, Mago.
Yeah. Like, But as of now, Hunico is expected to stay working under that mask, and Mystico will quietly be leaving. His contract expires January the 10th.
Well, of course he's going to be quiet. He doesn't have a mouth.
The reason they're keeping the Sin Cara character around is obviously because that mask makes so much money. And to conclude the news, we always have a separate section for Roman Reigns on the podcast, so why change it?
Always.
There are still plans for Roman Reigns to get a huge push in the 2014 Royal Rumble. I think it's official now. He is booked to get several impressive eliminations. They're saying Kane and Kevin Nash like what they were like in the past. So, who knows, maybe, as we said, the top 3 finish is not out of the question.
Now, Rosa, you did actually miss one large piece of news.
What's that?
The Old School Raw next week.
Old School Raw. I thought
you're going to see the returns of Ric Flair.
I genuinely thought you were going to say that during your review, so I left it.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who is that?
And the one, the only.
No way.
Sorry, I think I got cut off there. Do you all hear what I said? Yep, awesome, perfect.
That's interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. But just to conclude that news, something interesting I read about Roman Reigns was that people see him as a new dark superstar, and they're saying he's next in line from The Undertaker.
Oh. Which
is a big, bold statement.
All that really means is that they're not going to let him talk, which is the perfect thing to do.
That's the thing. He can improve. There's nothing wrong with his character.
He only says one word, Rosa. He says believe, and even then,
it sounds good.
He seems to say it wrong. No.
I think it sounds great.
Believe.
Roman Reigns is the next big thing, and
believe.
There is no other way.
Believe.
Anything else?
Elite. Still better than Seth Rollins, though.
Everything's better than Steph Rollins.
I am the best member of the Shield.
So yeah, that does conclude the news. And how many weeks are we away from the Royal Rumble now?
3, 4?
Three.
3 weeks?
3
4
weeks?
weeks?
3 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Any predictions this week based on the news, on the rumours? Who do you think's going to win the Rumble?
Daniel Bryan.
Batista.
I gotta go with him, man. It's gonna be Batista.
Yep, I'm glad we all agree.
Especially if he's staying around for like a long run. It's his last run. We need a new face as the champion.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Especially with his movie coming out. Looking forward to the movie as well.
But yeah. Is there anything else you guys do want to discuss on the main event?
TNA this week was really good. No, wrong podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't watch it. No.
Wrong podcast.
Nope, I guess that's everything.
That is everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, please message us on Facebook. It would mean a lot to us. The Main Event Podcast, Twitter @TME Podcast, or even email us. I will be waiting like I do every single week, and this week I only had one email, and I had to email myself for that. At tmepodcast@gmail.com.
Well, and of course, our website,
There he is.
www.tmepodcast.com. Kind of forgot our website there.
Yep.
And our last podcast.
tmepodcast.com. tme-podcast.com.
With a P.
Podcast with a P.
I beat you to it.
Oh.
I beat you to it this week. Again, this is our last podcast of 2013. We wish you all a Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
But we will be back next week, hopefully, to continue this impressive run of uploading.
Yep.
Every single week without fail.
Yep, and
First podcast of 2014.
next week, and as we get more news, we will
Well, this
continue.
may be when you're listening to the podcast in 2014. Ooh, spooky. We're from the past. Ooh.
Yep, and we will continue to build towards the Royal Rumble a lot better than WWE are doing. We'll try.
Yes.
We'll give you our predictions. We'll try to get through the entire card, and obviously we want to hear your predictions as well. So
Get
that
ready for old school Raw next week.
I'm so excited. Can't you
Yep.
tell? Can you not tell?
Oh, definitely.
Expecting a lot from it.
Yep. So that concludes this week, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you for listening.